here. It's times that they are changing. We usually have a packed room for reorganization, but those are the circumstances we're dealing with. Yeah, well, I'm sure the folks in attendance would agree with you. Are you prepared?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
You are? Okay, great. We're going to get started now, just so everyone knows the protocol. For those in attendance and those that are listening at home, we're going to continue our meeting from December 9, adopt a few resolutions, and at the end of that, we're going to close that meeting, and promptly thereafter, we're going to start reorganization. Also, before we start the meeting, in light of safety concerns, we've limited the meeting to, well, we restricted public access because of the COVID trajectory these days. And the limited folks that are here temporarily just for the swearing-in purposes of our two councilmen that will be swearing in at reorganization. That being said, if everyone would please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, I have a statement to read into the
Please.
record. Please take notice that this is a continuation of the regularly scheduled Mayor and Council meeting of December 9, 2021, and that the 2022 quarterly reorganization meeting will commence after the continued meeting is completed. Please take notice that in accordance with Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, adequate notice informing the public of the time and place of this continued meeting was emailed to the record in Jersey Journal on December 14, 2021, and was passed and was posted on the Borough Bulletin Board and Borough website. Please take further notice that a remote meeting notice was emailed to the record and the Jersey Journal on January 4, 2022, notifying the public that this meeting would be held remotely. Same was posted on the Borough Bulletin Board and Borough website. Council members Sommer,
Here.
Young,
Here.
Sapp,
Here.
Sargenti,
Here.
Kazowski. Here. Survey.
Here.
Mayor Sokowicz.
Here, thank you, Webb. I'm going to obviously dispense with an opening statement and reserve for reorganization, so we're going to jump right to the resolution. Evelyn, I'm going to let you handle these headings if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-1, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing various budget transfers for the year 2021.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? And a roll.
Council members Sommer,
Here. Yes.
Young,
Here. Yes.
Sapp,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski. Yes. Survey.
Yes.
Resolution R-2, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing outstanding credits for the year 2020 to be credited back to surplus, total amount of $281,608.96.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Council members Sommer,
Yes.
Young,
Yeah.
Sapp,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski. Yes. Survey.
Yes.
Resolution R-3, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing cancellation of all deficit credits of $10 or less for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Council members Sommer,
Yes.
Young,
Yeah.
Sapp,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski. Yes. Survey.
Yes.
Resolution R-4, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing cancellation of outstanding checks totaling $58,324.46 for the year 2020.
Thank you. Motion?
So moved.
Second. Council members Sommer,
Yes.
Young,
Yeah.
Sapp,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski. Yes. Survey.
Yes.
That's all for resolutions this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, everyone. Up to public participation. Would anyone from the public, I know we don't have any here, but would anybody from the public like to be heard on any matter? If you have thoughts on reorganization, I'd ask that you hold your thoughts or questions till then. This is relating to the agenda that you just went through. Now, Sam, this is live?
Yes.
So that if anybody wants to participate, they'll be letting you know somehow and you'll let me know?
They could talk right back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Great.
And we're also live on YouTube. They could send comments in.
Fantastic. And thank you to you and Linda and the girls for setting all of this up. Is there anybody in the public that wants to be heard on this agenda? Hearing none, motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And that now concludes what's referred to our slime dine meeting, and that just is our ability to clean up any undone business from the year 2021. It's a short meeting, and we usually do budget transfers, things of that nature, which we just accomplished. The reorganization meeting will now commence, and I believe, Evelyn, you have a statement that you need to read.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In accordance with Chapter 231 Public Laws 1975, adequate notice informing the public of the time and place of this meeting was duly published in the record. The Jersey Journal of the Star Ledger issued of November 12, 2021. Said notice was also posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board and Borough website. A remote meeting notice was emailed to the Record and Jersey Journal on January 4, 2022, notifying the public that this meeting would be held remotely. Same was posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board and Borough website. Council members Somer,
Here.
Young,
Here.
Sa,
Here.
Sargenti,
Here.
Kazowski,
Here.
Cerveri,
Here.
Mayor Sofler.
Here. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you.
And we have a bit of real short business to dispense with. We have swearing in of our two councilmen that were reelected in the 2021 election, Councilman Cervieri and Councilman Somer. Joseph, are you ready?
I'm all set.
And you have someone holding the Bible.
I do, yeah, that's so special.
Excellent. And Greg, I believe that would be you, so come on up.
Grab a microphone, is that all right?
Here we go.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Joe, left hand, raise your right hand, and I believe left hand on the Bible as it goes. You've done this a few times, and I think it's important to note that Councilman Cervieri, unless a historian tells us otherwise, is the longest standing councilman in the history of the borough of Fort Lee.
And it's still standing.
And still standing. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Joe. You served this public incredibly well. You inspire us, and I gotta tell you, it's an absolute positive privilege to serve with you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Holding the Bible is Joe's special guest, his brother Greg.
As Joanne is enjoying the warm weather of Florida.
Got it. I'm gonna ask to repeat after me if you would. I, Joseph Cervieri Jr.,
I, Joseph Sierra Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution
that I support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all of the duties of the office of
all of the duties of the office of
Councilman, term expiring December 31, 2024,
Councilman, term expiring December 31, 2024,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me
so
God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you know what? We're going to sign you up right here, Joe.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Good one, Mayor.
And this is yours there, Joseph.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Congratulations. Privileged to serve with you.
Thank you.
And next we have Councilman Harvey Somer. Harvey, please come forward. And I believe holding the Bible will be your beautiful wife, Roberta. Roberta? How are you? Here's the Bible, it's your job. Are you ready, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
And it's a pleasure and a privilege to serve with you as well.
Thank you. Same with you, man.
I know that, but I love you, and I gotta tell you, our relationship up here is great, but that's now spread, and you become one of Holding the Bible is Harvey's beautiful wife Roberta. And Harvey, you ready?
Yes, sir.
You're going to repeat after me. I, Harvey Sommer,
I, Harvey Sommer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of
Constitution
the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and
established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
all of the duties of
the office of councilman,
the office of councilman,
term expiring December 31, 2024,
term expiring December 31, 2024,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Roberta. And by the way, thank you for letting me do this, because we know we need permission. But I certainly need permission from mine. Here's They throw these out.
Congratulations.
President.
Yeah.
Congratulations, yeah, all. And the table, so I'm a three-piece, so I gotta buy.
Thank you so much.
No, that's great.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph. That concludes the oaths of office, and allow me to be
I'd like to-
first to congratulate Joe and Harvey. Yes.
I just want to make one brief announcement that this is a bittersweet day for me, in that this is the first time in 9 times when John DeSheplo has not been here to personally swear me in. But I know he's here, as is members of his family. So thank you, John. Thank you, Pete.
So on that note, we're going to break from the agenda for a moment on something not planned. At this point, we would ask the son of the late, great, Honorable John DeSheplo, Peter DeSheplo, to please come forward and say a few words to us. Peter, welcome, and if you would, right at the podium, please. And, you know, I'm sorry, your kids' names are?
Leonard and Madeline. Leonard and Madeline.
Leonard, Madeline, welcome. We're so happy to have you guys here. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations to both of you on your reappointment tonight. Joe, thank you for the kind words. I'm not going to take much of your time. Like Mark said, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm John DeSheplo's son, Peter DeSheplo. I appreciate you guys giving us a little bit of time just to express my family's gratitude. My father absolutely loved Fort Lee. And last week, Fort Lee got to show its love back for him. My family and I would like to thank the Fort Lee Police Department personally for the amazing tribute they gave him and all the time and effort they put into his funeral. It was truly a send-off second to none. We'd also like to thank the mayor and council for honoring my father by naming this courtroom after him. My mother has a tree planted and a plaque for her right across the street at the Fort Lee Library for her service to the town as well. So it's beautiful that they get to be across the street from each other. Lastly, we'd just like to thank the entire community for all the love and support they've shown our family through this time. All of these things made us even more proud than we already were of my father. So thank you all very much, and have a good night.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Madeline, for coming. And listen, I think, Peter, it goes without having to say it that your father touched a lot of hearts, every single heart here, especially this mayor's heart. As a young lawyer, I mean, I've known him now almost 40 years, and just always a friend, and love the guy, really did. And you guys have an incredible grandfather, and a credible dad. Send all love to Caroline and Leanna, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
It's all a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming.
And don't worry, we'll let you know when the ceremony, the renaming is, so forth and so on.
Absolutely, thank you.
Oh, before you go, forgot. We printed this out for you. Leonard, Madeline, come on up. I'm going to give this to you guys. This is just a very, very, very small commemoration. This is a street sign that we name only for our special citizens, and it's known as the Chapel Court. And congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Peter.
Take care, guys. You know, it's funny, everybody's waiting for an applause, but there is none because we have an empty room here, right? So, anyway, that being said, so back to reorganization, and I thank the council and the public for just taking a moment on a matter off agenda, because it was just special, and for those members of the public that don't know, Peter was the son of a iconic municipal court judge, John DeChapello, that served in this borough for over 40 years. I'm pretty sure there's not a longer standing municipal court judge in the state. He touched thousands, tens of thousands of lives. Never a bad word spoken about him, and that's difficult to do considering the position he was in. I mean, he would sentence people, and the folks that were sentenced had kind words to say about it. I mean, do you realize how difficult that is? I mean, I can tell you, and I won't, privacy interests, tens and tens of families that were actually happy that their child was appearing before Judge DeChapello because they were at a troubled point in their life, and they needed his speech, they needed his sentencing, they needed his guidance, whether it was a heavy hand to punish them and show them a message, or it was a little sympathy, whatever it was, John always seemed to deliver the right message for the right person. And that's just a talent that you are God blessed with, and it's not something I think you learn. And John had it, and that's it. So we're grateful to Peter for coming by. So it's that point in reorganization where the mayor gets to talk about, I guess, a little bit the year in review. If you've noticed now, this is 15 years for me, which I find incomprehensibly hard to believe, considering I told my wife I was going to do this for one term, and here we are 15 years later. But the good news for the council is that this speech has gotten shorter and shorter as the years have gone on. Remember, the first year you guys had an office pool as how long it would be. This year it's going to be pretty short. And you're going to notice that during the course of my words, it's more of a thank you than it is even a report, because there are a lot of thank yous that are due and owing. You know, I told everybody back in early 2021 about the preceding year, and I'm going to say it again for 2022 and the preceding year that's we're about to experience, that the way we conduct ourselves during the course of this pandemic, the way we behave as leaders, the ideas we come up with, the things we implement, the way we help protect people and communicate with people in the climate and setting of a global pandemic, in my view and in my opinion, will impact us and define us as human beings for the rest of our lives. There's never been a more critical point, not only politically, but also from health-wise, that this country has ever been in. In many respects, we've never been more vulnerable, and there's never been a greater need for leadership. And I'm proud to tell you that that leadership has come in many different forms here in the borough of Fort Lee. And not just from this dais, but from the many people that work here. And I'm going to try to avoid using specific names, because once I name one, I'm going to have to name hundreds. But I just wanted to make sure, right from the outset, that the public knew that there were a lot of people that rose to the occasion. Now, there were people in this borough that we always knew them to be heroes. We always knew that they would do the right thing. But there are others, folks that I barely even knew their name, that rose to the occasion, spending tens and tens of volunteer hours, whether it's getting meals to senior citizens or joining our Fort Lee Friends Talk, where they're chatting with somebody that's lonely or feeling a bit despondent, or whether it's volunteering at the center, whatever it might be. All of those people, that cream has risen to the top. And I tell you, as the mayor of this community, never, ever a more proud moment. And what does this all culminate to? It all culminates to Fort Lee being designated by multiple sources and multiple authorities as one of the leading municipalities in Northeast United States of America as a model community on how to deal with the pandemic and in particular COVID. And that, my friends, is a great accomplishment, and that was done not only as a result of leadership, but the many, many people that work here and the many, many volunteers that we are blessed with. You'll remember that on March 4th, 2020, the first COVID case was here in the borough of Fort Lee. And I'll never forget that day. There were 100 members of the press. There must have been 50 officials from local, county, state, federal officials, what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, HIPAA rights, press conferences, what to do, where is the guy? And it was just this mass, I don't want to say hysteria, but it was attention beyond attention. And it's amazing, we now find ourselves just under 2 years later, where unfortunately the projection is that by the time the spring of 2022 starts, over 1 million Americans will have lost their lives as a result of COVID or COVID-related deaths. So if anyone doesn't think this is serious, keep those statistics in mind. Been a lot of people that have lost a lot of friends, and I got to tell you, at this point in my life, I'm 58 years old. I've never had more folks pass around me than now. Some COVID-related and some not, but it's serious, and it's important that we all protect ourselves. And it's also important that if you're not vaccinated, to please reconsider that position. If you are vaccinated and boosted, we thank you for your efforts. In 2021, we introduced a full-time videographer, and the reason we did that was because the messaging was effective. Who wants to constantly write, let alone read boring press conferences? So here in Fort Lee, when we want to get the message out, we use all the conventional methods of social media, of course, but we also do a lot of videos, which we're very proud of, and I would venture a guess that we've done 60, 70, 80 videos during the course of the year. We drive-through tested over 3,000 people, and I'm happy to report that almost 90% of Fort Lee has been tested at this point. But during the course of the year, thousands of folks went through our drive-through facilities. We created and continue to utilize our very own mobile testing unit. And I'm going to tell you, as I said last year, I'm pretty sure we're the only municipality of our size that has such a device. We did a drive-through flu clinic. Got to remember, Fort Lee, that COVID's not the only disease you can catch. There are flus, there are colds. Make sure you protect yourself from those illnesses as well. We converted our senior citizen center, we'll talk about that in a little more detail in a second, to a hub for Meals on Wheels, to make sure, the grab and go program, to make sure that folks that don't have meals or don't have the ability to cook for themselves now have a meal on a regular basis. I'll tell you this in a minute again, but we delivered, I believe, it's just under 8,000 meals at this point, when you think about it, all powered by volunteers. We created a vaccination distribution point at our Fort Lee Community Center. I don't think anything ever made me more proud during the course of 2021 than walking into our Fort Lee Community Center, which is usually humming with boys and girls basketball and Zumba class and all of that stuff. And now it's been converted to a state-of-the-art vaccination site. Now, it's very difficult to have that approved by the state of New Jersey. You need to qualify. I venture a guess and say that Fort Lee probably had the most well-run vaccination distribution point in the state of New Jersey. We would get 100, 200, 300 vaccines, and we would get them into arms within 24 to 48 hours of receiving that. And quite frankly, at points in the pandemic, if we got 1,000 vaccinations, we would have been able to deliver it. And that's all thanks to Joe Stopper and our health department. You know, it's interesting, our health department, I think, as a result of this pandemic, has really become not just another agency, it's become our 5th emergency service agency. So I think now when we talk about police and fire and OEM and ambulance, I think we also have to talk about the health department, because they become as much an emergency service agency in this climate as anyone else. And I think you would all agree with that. We now have booster days in Fort Lee. We got through the vaccinations. Fort Lee's pushing in the high 80th percentile of having everyone vaccinated. And now we're having booster days. And we're in the process of having more in 2022. We created, as I said, Friends of Fort Lee, which was a free phone-in service for folks that wanted to chat with their neighbors. We had town-wide teleconference calls to update the public on what was going on. As I said, multiple video announcements, and the effectiveness was so great that we ultimately hired our full-time videographer, Linda McHugh. Local folks also had, and our residents had to deal with tragedy during the course of 2021. We had Hurricane Ida, which saw rainfall and flooding that Fort Lee in its 130-plus year history has never ever seen before. We saw emergency service agencies in full action during that period. Of course, the Knightsbridge fire that displaced tens and tens of families, all of their belongings, their assets, their valuables, their apartment completely destroyed. But we got through it. And I was proud to report that once again, the charitable arm of the Borough of Fort Lee raised in excess of $200,000 to distribute to many of these families, whether it was food, whether it was for lodging, whether it was for a security deposit for a replacement home. And we're proud of that. I don't think that happens everywhere. We're grateful to the countless groups that exist here in Fort Lee. Just by way of example, the Korean Youth Council of Fort Lee, always in full action, whether it's having recycle days or earth days or raising money in conjunction with LG Electronics to donate recycled bins. This is a group of young men and women here in Fort Lee that just know about community, and it just seems to me that 2 or 3 months don't go by where they're not holding an event to present us with something that they're contributing to the community. We kept the borough as active as we could during 2021. And I will tell you that required yeoman's effort to make sure we did the things that we're accustomed to doing, because the game plan was to always maintain some level of normalcy here. So that folks, it wasn't just about Zoom calls and staying home and wondering whether the supermarket's gonna run out of toilet paper soon and you gotta stock up. We wanted some normalcy here. We still had our National Night Out. Once again, we had our Halloween dog parktacular, the BDA Halloween activities. We had a beautiful menorah lighting, and here we go again with probably the state of New Jersey's most successful and most colorful holiday tree lighting. And we're grateful to all of the volunteers and the employees that put that together. Thousands of people attended those events. We had movies under the stars. We had multiple functions, but we did it safely. Remember looking at a drone shot at Movies Under the Stars, and the entire field was made a grid, so that families would remain in that grid and then not spread to other families. But it gave everybody an opportunity to get outdoors, to enjoy a movie. It was just wonderful to see the planning and the effort that was put into place. It's not just Fort Lee that does these activities, right? It's the PBA that in large part puts National Night Out in conjunction with us, but the PBA is the driving force there. And it's at this point I need a shout out to the Fort Lee Library. And I've said this multiple times, Isla and Joe, you're our liaisons, that if Fort Lee did nothing, if we did not one activity that we do, and we relied strictly on what the Fort Lee Library puts out there for us, we would probably have more activity in this town than 90% of the other communities in the state of New Jersey.
Absolutely.
And if no one believes me, go to their website and check out what's going on. They address all issues from educational to social issues. They compel you to learn. They make it fun. There's activities for everyone. And that's why we're proud of the Fort Lee Library and Chris and the group that's over there. So fantastic job. We have other organizations and agencies that have also put together activities and events here in the Borough of Fort Lee. And that would include, for example, the Chamber of Commerce and the BDA. So the point is, it's been a collective effort. Youth sports, again, we did it, we conducted it. I'm grateful to the administrators, I'm grateful to the coaches. These men and women are adjusting schedules, checking kids, testing kids, making sure everybody's safe. Putting together a basketball game for children or getting kids out to a softball field these days is a challenge. And here in Fort Lee, we got the volunteers that rose to that occasion and did it safely and still held their seasons going. And it's just an incredible, incredible task, and they rose to that occasion. The departments in Fort Lee, they learn to recreate themselves. They learn to rediscover themselves on how to conduct themselves in the setting of a pandemic. And the idea, the charge that we always gave them was to make sure we continue to deliver as many services as we can to the Borough of Fort Lee. And I'm not about to read the list of accomplishments that I have in front of me, because we'll be here all night, but a quick run of things is warranted. Our Borough Clerk's Office responded to just under 1,000 Oprah requests. And by the way, a shout out to Nadine Drumgoole, who's under the weather tonight, and we know that Nadine wanted to be here to help us with reorganization, but we all hope that you're feeling better, Nadine. And Godspeed and quick recovery. And the Borough Clerk's Office is the place that keeps this world organized. Make sure we do things the right way, by resolution and copies and files. And I gotta tell you, it's an indispensable, statutorily required task. And the young ladies that run that office, headed by our own Evelyn Rosario, we can't begin to tell you how appreciative we are, especially in the climate of a pandemic. So thank you very much, ladies. Our fire department, we say goodbye to Chief Drumgoole, who had an incredible tenure here in the borough of Fort Lake, displayed great leadership. I remember one of the highlights, or presentations, most impressive presentations that I experienced in 2021 was Brian and his men and women's presentation on how we try to retain volunteer fighters. And that was as well put together a presentation as I've seen. And I gotta tell you, it just showed to me the commitment that these men and women have, not only to the borough of Fort Lee, but also to the volunteer fire department. We say goodbye to Brian, he's not going that far. Obviously, he's still gonna be active. But we say hello to Pat Caluso, who's now been elevated from deputy chief to chief of the department. Rich Onufray from battalion chief, who's now going to be the deputy chief. And John Klein now becomes the battalion chief. So Pat, Rich, and John, we look forward to working with you. This volunteer fire department responded to over 2,000 calls. There was the major fires on Hudson Terrace, referred to as the Knightsbridge fire. We authorized the purchase of 2 new trucks this year, which we're excited to take delivery of. We're trying to implement a retention program to increase local membership, a new bailout system, and a personalized camera for every member of the department. We continue to make sure that our emergency service agencies have the right resources, so when these tragic events come about, we keep Fort Lee as safe as we possibly can. Our ambulance corps also saw the election of new chiefs. Constantly did they support our health department during the vaccine clinics and serving as EMS standbys. They always provided uninterrupted coverage to our residents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, despite many staffing challenges as a result of COVID during the course of the year. They ran an extremely successful winter coat drive, as they do on an annual basis, collecting almost 200 winter coats and donating those coats to local shelters. Because they don't have enough to do, responding to the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls that they have to respond to. They also collect coats for those that are needed coats during the winter months. They answered over 95% of the calls in town, running 2 crews 24/7, which is an incredible accomplishment when you factor in that over 4,200 calls per service were made. The department always strived to make it 100%, and sometimes they needed to call in for assistance, but the efforts that they made to keep us safe is worthy of recognition here at our reorganization meeting. Our Fort Lee Health Department, I can't say enough about it. We talk about this all the time. We hired our present health officer, Jill Scarpa, and I think a day or 2 later, somebody announced that we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? Talk about wanting a cushy health department job here in the borough of Fort Lee, only to find out 48 hours later that a global pandemic is now upon us. But some statistics. They conducted 10 child health conferences. 67 childhood vaccinations were administered. They conducted almost 10 influenza clinics through the health department. They, administered almost 600 flu vaccinations, and they had 30 COVID-19 vaccination clinics held during the course of 2021. Almost 2,000 first doses were administered. A total of 3,500 doses were administered of the vaccine during the course of 2021. And by the way, I want to be clear. We're not asking the health department to do this. They're doing this on their own initiative. And that's what makes me the most proud. They're not waiting around, hey, could you do this? Would you think about that? You know, you take great pride in the fact that when you hear from a department that says, Mayor, this is what we set up to do. We hope you like it. We just want your okay on it. And it just gives us great pride to do that. I told you they set up the vaccination site at the community center. They handled the flu. They handled almost 300 individuals participated in health screenings by the health department. They also are responsible for dog licensing and all of that. But as I said before, the health department has become our 5th emergency service agency. They handle marriage licenses, health insurance complaints, and they Center was in full swing also. We still had many of the programs that we've offered in prior years. We've had basketball courts were reopened. Yes, there were restrictions, but they were administered by Cheryl and her gang in just an incredible way. On July 1 of 2021, we opened our doors to resume classes in the community center, where we started to offer once again yoga, and Pilates, and stretch, and tone, and line dancing, again to restore Fort Lee back to normalcy. And we are forever indebted to and appreciative of the Recreation Department, because they provided incredible service here, especially in the setting of the pandemic, to make sure that folks are doing something healthy other than just simply sitting around at home. Our police department, we can't say enough about. We hired 7 new police officers, graduating from the Bergen County Police Academy in June. We've implemented and started the police camera program, which is a very, very important program. We had a dedicated debriefing room to William T. Birch, an officer who passed in the line of duty here in the borough of Fort Lee. We became accredited by the New Jersey State Chief of Police Association as a method of assisting law enforcement agencies to calculate and improve overall policing, and many other programs were instituted by the Fort Lee Police Department. And just at the latter part of 2021, they introduced 2 new departments within the Fort Lee Police Department. One, the Professional Standards Division, which is going to encompass the current training bureau. They do background investigation unit, they formed the accreditation unit, and a new unit was developed and implemented to ensure that Fort Lee Police Department complies with the body-worn camera policy. Now, you gotta remember, these cameras that these police wear are subject to many, many regulations. To make sure and ensure that we do it the right way, the legal way, we've created a department to make sure that it's implemented properly. We also and that's handled by Captain Ferraro. Captain Young has been assigned to the Office of Community Relations. Who better? And Eddie is going to be responsible for all public information, to include press releases and social media. This department will also be responsible for representing the department at community events, holding community events. And again, both of these agencies are designed to maintain a more respectful, transparent, and just a better, closer relationship between police and community. Thank you to our Department of Public Works, who have also been there for us 24/7. As a matter of fact, they're loading trucks right now because we have an ensuing snowstorm that we're anticipating tonight. Our senior center, can't say enough about them. We said it earlier on. 7,000 meals were prepared on site, handed out twice weekly in our grab-and-go COVID safe distribution program. They brought back safe exercise classes, including outdoor classes in Monument Park, and transitioned into more than 1,000 seniors being able to take more than 500 classes at Town Recreation Center, who were gracious enough to share their large open facility with the center. Our senior center has morphed into nothing more than an incredible institution, and I invite anyone in Fort Lee, if you ever want to warm your heart and see volunteers in action, go take a look at Krista and her volunteers, because it is an incredible feat that they achieve on a weekly basis, making sure that those folks are fed, and we are eternally grateful to them. 2022 also looks to have a very, very bright future. This time, I really, really mean it. In 2022, we will finally get our new post office. This post office is complete, it is done, and we're about ready to hand over the keys to the Postal Service, and we're hoping that February will not come and go when we'll announce that the new post office is open. Once they've moved into that new post office, we will then remove the murals and restore them that are at the existing post office, and create yet another public park here in the borough of Fort Lee, right in the heart of Main Street. And that park will be constructed in-house by the borough of Fort Lee, and I'm hopeful will be ready for use in the first half of 2022. Now, this is a passive park. It's a park to meet a friend for a cup of coffee. It's a park where you could go and just, have a bit of a respite and relax from the busy, busy day, which we're very excited about. Also excited about here in the borough of Fort Lee, some of the things that I've always hoped that some of our initiatives would become contagious. And what I mean by that is people starting to take pride in ownership. And more during the course of 2022, you start seeing old and tired storefronts converted to new and more modern storefronts. By way of example, I look at Oak Tree Center, which was a tire strip mall, which is now brand sparkling new, having gone through a multi-million-dollar fit-out and exterior improvement program. And I think that's important because when people see that type of activity, it becomes contagious. Not a word I necessarily want to use in today's setting, but you'll see that. And the other day, and I shared this with all of you, I stood by our new parking deck and I just looked around at what was going on, and that's becoming one of the brighter spots in town. When only 2 or 3 years ago, it was one of those areas of town that really needed so much help. So we're excited about what 2022 is going to, bring us. We're also hopeful to implement a redevelopment area at Junction. Now, the Junction is a historic part of Fort Lee. It's at the south end of Fort Lee, but it needs help. And we're hopeful in 2022 we'll be able to clean it up with new sidewalks and new streets, new street lights, and do the streetscape that we've also done in other areas, which we're excited about. You've heard a lot about, some folks like it, some folks don't, but our Pip Park Initiative, where we were going to take some of these parks that we own, that were previously handled by the PIP, but we were going to renovate them and make them more user-friendly for access by the public. And we're still in the process of those design stages, but I'm hopeful that in 2022, we will reach a conclusion as to what we're going to do with those parks, improve them, and make them more accessible for everyone in the borough of Fort Lee. And at the same time, try to keep everyone happy. Not always possible, but we're at least going to try. I also want to extend my thanks to all the emergency service agencies, from fire to police, from OEM to our ambulance corps, and again, our fifth emergency service agency, our health department, to all of our staff, everyone from our senior citizen staff to the parking authority, from the BID to our IT department, to our DPW, our administrative offices, our building department, and everyone in between. Everyone had to go the extra mile, and they did. And 2022 is still going to pose maybe less challenge, but still there's going to be quite a bit of challenge, especially with the trajectory of COVID as it stands today. But we look forward to working with our employees and our volunteers to make sure that everybody remains safe and we get through 2022 together. There were also folks we said goodbye to during the course of 2022. Two in particular, one we mentioned earlier. We said goodbye to the iconic judge that Fort Lee has always been blessed with for the last 42 years, John DeShepard, we said goodbye to. We said goodbye to a guy that ran Pop Warner football here in the borough of Fort Lee. Peter, 35 years, 40 years? Maybe longer, Joseph Serace, and we extend our condolences to the Serace and the DeShepard family, and to all the other families that lost a loved one during the course of 2021. Know that we stand with you, and we are here, and your loved one is in our thoughts and our minds, and we will never forget their contributions to the community. And finally, I just wanted to extend some thank yous to everybody. I always do them last, and this year I'll do them first. I want to extend a thank you to my beautiful wife, Denise, and to my children, Danny and Devin. You know, on a personal note, 2021 sucked for me too. It wasn't just about a pandemic. As many of you know, I was diagnosed with some pretty serious cancer. I'm still dealing with it, but 2021 showed me if you listen to your doctors and if you do what you're supposed to do, you can get through just about anything. So for those of you that aren't vaccinated, listen to your doctors as I did, because I'm still here and I feel pretty good. But I'm thankful to my friends and my family for getting me through that, and to, in particular, my wife and my kids for letting me do what I do. And to my extended family here on the Borough Council, I love each and every one of you. It's an absolute privilege and a joy to serve with you, and I just find it amazing that there are 6 personalities on this council. Every single one is so different, and I think that's why we ultimately reach what I think are sound and fair conclusions most, if not all of the time. To our Borough Administrator, Al Bustano, who's here. Al, thank you for what you do in responsible charge of running this place day to day. It is no easy task, and thank you. Al was hired the day before Bridgegate broke, and Jill was hired the day before the pandemic broke. I hate to say it, Al, I think Jill might have actually gotten the worst of those two. Mary Ann and Fran and the administrative staff at the mayor's office. As I mentioned, to all the dedicated employees here in the borough of Fort Lee and to all the volunteers that serve on our boards and our commissions. I mentioned a few names. I'm gonna get in trouble because I didn't mention a lot of them. I'm looking in the audience, I see a guy over there, he hates when I mention his name. Yes, Sam, I'm about to mention it. And I just can't thank him. I mean, can't thank him enough. This is a guy that, he's hanging holiday lights at the community center in June, right? I mean, who does that? You do that if you love community, and you do that if you take pride in your community. We have a lot of folks like Sam here. So Sam, the compliment isn't directly at you. I'm just using you as the prototype of what exists here in the borough of Fort Lee. And thank God people like you exist. And lastly, I just want to thank everybody in the borough of Fort Lee, because without you, we don't get to do what we do. Without your vote, without your support, we don't get to come up here and hopefully, and God willing, make the right decisions on your behalf. I have a lot of fun doing this. I do, because we've achieved some pretty good things, but there's still a lot of work to do. And there's still a lot of challenges ahead. I'm sorry I went over my time. I don't know who won the pool this year. We didn't have one. I just wanted to, but the message that I wanted to send was just an absolute huge thank you to everybody. For those of you that I didn't mention, don't be mad. Know that we know who you are and we love you. But the beauty of it is you don't do it for recognition. You do it because you know it's the right thing to do. And to our volunteers and everyone else, thank you. We love you. And together we'll get through 2022. And that's it for my remarks. Hope I didn't bore you. We did have a question from Bruce Nilsson. Why did the mayor and council approve RDF6 designation of Depository Connect One Bank Englewood, Close New Jersey, where Mayor Sokolich is a board member? That resolution isn't here yet, correct?
We're gonna start going into that. I haven't-
Right, so Bruce, we haven't adopted that, we're not adopting that resolution yet, and I'm going to recuse once we get there and adopt it by way of a separate resolution. We're aware of it, that's how we always handle it, and thank you for raising it. Any other questions? None, but it's not, we're not open to the public yet, so, I guess we're ready to get into the reorganization resolution.
That's
Is everyone
correct.
okay with that?
Yes.
Everybody's ready to go? All right, we're trying to do it as efficiently and as swiftly as we can. First, we have reorganization resolutions. Resolution in the Borough of Fort Lee establishing a seating arrangement and voting order for 2022. That order is Harvey Sommer, Paul Yoon, Peter Stubb, Michael Sargenti, Isla Kosofsky, Joseph Servieri Jr. I need a motion
Second.
and a roll.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Yoon?
Yes.
Suh?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Survey?
Yes.
R-2, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee appointing Ms. Isla Kosofsky as the Borough Council President for 2022. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Yoon?
Yes.
Suh?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Survey?
Yes.
Thank you. Third resolution is resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee designating council member committee liaisons for 2022. There's been some minor adjustments, but for the most part, the liaison positions are just about the same as they were for 2021. As I explained each year, liaisons are, if a department is in need of something, has to raise an issue with something, rather than randomly go to a particular councilman, we appoint liaisons so that that department head or that member of that department or agency can go to that councilman with his or her need or issue. It just makes it a little more organized. Or they can always come to me, but typically they'll go to their council liaison. With that, I need a motion.
Second.
And a roll.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Yoon? Suh?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Survey?
Yes.
Thank you. We now get into the budget and depository resolutions. R-4, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the 2022 temporary budget. I need a motion.
Second.
And a second.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Yoon?
Yes.
Suh?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Survey?
Yes.
Thank you. R-5, this is a resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the designation of depositories for the year 2022. And for the record, it lists about a dozen banks, and Connect One Bank of Englewood Cliffs is not in this resolution. I need a motion, please, for R-5.
Second.
And a roll.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
Thank you. Now I'm going to recuse myself for R-6 and ask Council President Isla Kazowski to please read the heading.
R-6, designation of depository, Connect One, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey.
You need a motion?
I need a motion to introduce.
Second.
Motion to accept.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Sirvari?
Yes.
Council President Kazowski?
Yes.
Thank you, Council
For the
President.
record, reflect that the mayor is back on the desk.
Thank you. Thank you, Isla.
You're welcome.
And I trust that satisfies the inquiry that we also received from the public. I will
Yes.
vote it on separately. We're now up to R-7, resolution of Borough of Portland authorizing the designation of PNC Bank as the official tax receiving agency for the year 2022. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a roll.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
Thank you. R-8, resolution appointing Brian Chakowski of the firm of Cleary and Colby Alfieri Jacobs LLC as Borough Attorney for the year 2022. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
You're welcome, Brian. R-9, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract for the provision of professional auditing services to Wilcox and Company LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Either way.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
Thank you. R-10, resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract for professional consulting engineering services to Boswell Engineering. Motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
This is, and sometimes we consolidate the resolutions, so we don't have to do them individually, because it's an appointment, effectively to create a pool of qualified, in this case, this is a resolution in Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of contract for professional consulting engineering services, and this is on an as-needed basis. We vet, we create, and we authorize, in this case, 3 engineers, and we pick from them as we need them, if we need them. In this case, that's Colliers Engineering and Design, Remington and Vernick, and Neglia Engineering. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
Resolution R-12, A&P, resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract for professional traffic engineering services to Neglia Engineering and Boswell Engineering. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
R-13, our planning pool. This is, resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract for professional planning services to Phillips Price, Regal, Lapini, Hughes LLC, and Neglia Engineering Associates. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer?
Yes.
Young? Young?
Roll. Okay, keep going.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
Thank you. R-14, resolution of Borough of Fort Lee appointing Robbie Corrosian as the Chief Borough Prosecutor, Michael Condelmo as the Borough Prosecutor for the year 2022. Motion?
So moved.
Second. And a roll. Sorry.
Councilmember Sommer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sack?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Sirvari?
Yes.
you. Resolution Borough of Fort Lee appointing Elsbeth J. Crucius as the alternate borough prosecutor for the year 2022. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Thank you. Kevin Carson is this resolution, I just remember we needed somebody 15 years ago. We contacted Kevin, I said, Kevin, this might only be for a week or two. Yeah, right, might be. I said, Kev, you know, this is politics, we gotta figure it out, and by all accounts, he is the public defender of public defenders, and I don't know how many years he's doing it, but we're proud to have him. A guy I grew up with locally, too. He's a good man and a good lawyer. Resolution, the Borough of Fort Lee appointing Kevin Carson as the borough's public defender for the year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution 17, resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract for professional bond counsel services to, again, on an as-needed basis, creating a pool of 3 qualified, authorized bond counsel. Waters McPherson McNeil PC, McManaman Scotland and Bauman LLC, Gibbons PC. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution 18, the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract for professional tax counsel services to Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs LLC, and McCusker and Sully Rosen Cardelli PC. Motion.
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Conflict Counsel, Resolution R19, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of contract to perform services as conflict counsel to Warner Suarez, McCusker and Selmy, Warner Suarez and McCusker and Selmy Rosen Carvelli PC. Need a motion?
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Thank you. Collect my papers here for a second. R-20, resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of contract to Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs LLC for the provision of professional legal services, labor counsel. Motion?
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract to Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs LLC for the provision of professional legal services as redevelopment attorney. Motion?
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract to Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs LLC for the provision of professional legal services as affordable housing attorney.
Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to also be clear to the public, we just rattled through several resolutions that went to the same firm. Most places, I will tell you, under the title of Borough Attorney, a lot of these topics and areas of the law are included in that title. We break them out here in Fort Lee, which gives us flexibility and latitude to make sure that we got the right guy for particular expertise. In this particular case, this firm has quite a few attorneys with a lot of expertise, and we're very happy to have them on board. But it gives us latitude to make changes when we have to or when we don't have to. Resolution of Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract to Robert M. Biagiotti Esquire for the provision of professional legal services as rent leveling board attorney. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Stover?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sapp?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski?
Yes.
Surveyor?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution of Borough authorizing the award of contract to Warner Suarez for the providing professional legal services as ethics board attorney. Motion?
So moved. moved. Second.
Council members Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
R-26, resolution in the Borough of Fort Lee, authorizing the award of contract to William Patchen, CPA LLC for provision of professional accounting services for our building department and fire prevention. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution in the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract to the Depository Agency for the performance of risk management insurance services. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract to Acrisure LLC doing business as Reliance Health Insurance Group for the performance of health benefits insurance consulting services. Motion?
Second.
Councilmember Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
That group was previously Reliance, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Good guys, let's hope that they, can help us this year, because the premium increase, you know, I'll explain that to the public, one of the biggest challenges we have financially for 2022 are the increase in health insurance premiums. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one, the availability of time. A lot of folks did elect to get some elective surgery and get a lot of things done that is covered by insurance, so there's been a rise in that. There are some high claimants that, you know, obviously impact our premium. Everybody experiences that. But I'm told that every municipality in New Jersey has had an abundance of more claims made during the course of 2021 because of the pandemic as opposed to prior more normal years. So whenever there are more claims, there's more money paid out by the insurance company. And I don't think you need me to tell you they don't like that. And as a consequence, our premiums go up. We're looking at, if we do nothing, upwards of a $2 million plus increase.
Wow.
Yeah, upwards of a $2 million plus increase. Now, there's a few ways to combat that. We can change insurance companies if there are any that are offer us a lower premium. That's a big if. But remember, we have collective bargaining agreements that do not allow us to change insurance companies unless it's equal to or greater coverage. So there are some challenges. We're hoping that this group will do the right thing. They have in the past for us, so I'm confident we'll get through it as we've gone through things in the past. R-29, pardon the digression. Resolution Borough of Fort Lee authorizing the award of a contract for professional radio frequency communications engineering services to Applied Adaptive Solutions. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
Thank you. R-30, resolution Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract for the provision of professional financial advisory services to NW Financial Group. Motion?
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
Resolution Borough of Fort Lee authorizing award of a contract to Marion Associates, Inc. for the provision of professional appraisal services. Joseph? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Stoner?
Yes.
Young?
Yeah.
Sal?
Yes.
Sargenti?
Yes.
Kazowski? Yes. Surveyor?
Yes.
Good guys, and they help us with our tax bill. And Brian, our relate part, your experience with that appraisal group has been positive too, right?
It's very positive.
Yeah.
I can tell you, just recently, we're now taking care of Kravitz, and they've been doing Kravitz for years, and that's a bear of a town to deal with, and they've been doing very well.
More of a bear than Fort Lee?
Little different, because you're dealing with malls as opposed to office buildings and the residential.
What town
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Thank you. Resolution of the Borough of Fort Lee designating and appointing Mr. Michael Sargenti as the Borough Council Member Class 3 of the Borough Planning Board. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for serving, pal. It's another night that you could be home, but you're there, and I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. R-34, resolution, Mayor and Council of the Borough of Fort Lee appointing Councilman Michael Sargenti to the Fort Lee Multiple Dwelling Emergency Commission to act as chairman. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
R-35, resolution, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Fort Lee appointing Neil Grant as a member of the Fort Lee Parking Authority. Motion?
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
So we got a carve out here, so this is the, well, let's do it separately. Resolution, the Borough of Fort Lee reappointing various trustees to the Friends of Fort Lee Film, Inc. for a term of 2 years. Joanne Samaluka, Doris Cohen, Jeanette Curtis Redu, Janet Denlinger, Gary Donatelli, Nelson Page, Armin Pohan, Michelle Sorvino, Ashley Cafaso, and for a 3-year term expiring December 31, 2024, Councilman Harvey Sommer. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yeah.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yeah.
Allow the record to reflect that leaving the dais. We have a resolution. Isla, it's all yours.
Okay. I have resolution to the Borough of Fort Lee reappointing various trustees to the Friends of Fort Lee Film, Inc. for a term of 2 years. 2-year term expiring December 31, 2023. Denise Sokolich.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Council President Kazowski.
Yes.
Thank you, Isla. Can I have that? Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Isla. Okay, consent agenda resolutions, no different than our regular consent agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to review CA1 through and including CA9?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody need to pull anything out?
No, ma'am.
Great, so with that, I'm going to first ask for a motion to open to the public only on the consent agenda resolution CA1 through and including CA9.
Second.
Anyone from the public like to be heard on consent agenda resolution CA1 through CA9? This relates to the appointment of school crossing guards, designation of official newspapers, rates of interest for tax delinquencies. Anyone have any comment, question? Hearing none, I need a motion to close the public.
Second.
And now a motion to approve CA1 through and including CA9.
Second.
And a roll.
Councilmembers Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Seth.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, we are. We're now on mayor's appointment, nominations to the boards, mayor and council appointments to the boards, which we will go through systematically. And Evelyn, are you okay?
I'm good.
Take a break for 5 minutes, or you good?
No, I'm good, thank you. Mr.
You are?
Mayor. We're good. We can move forward.
You got it.
Thank you.
To the zoning board of adjustment, I nominate Howard Joe for a 4-year term, Sebastian Trepaya, 4-year term, both expiring December 31, 2025, and Louis Pacheco to fill the expiring term that's expiring December 31, 2022. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I should have also included the Board of Adjustment as alternate number 2 for a 2-year term expiring December 31, 2023, Joseph Lupino. I need a motion?
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
So now, Advisory Committee for Individuals with Disabilities, I nominate Harvey Sommer to serve as the Mayor and Council Liaison for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022, and Susan Cohen for 3 years, term expiring December 31, 2024. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Environmental Beautification Committee, I nominate Isla Kasowski as the councilwoman representative for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022. And for a term of 3 years expiring December 31, 2024, I nominate Marcus Spalla, River Survey, Andrea Hirsch, Ellie Sturrock. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Board of Ethics, for 5 years, Board of Ethics, I nominate Jacqueline B. Cates to fill expiring term ending December 31, 2023. Motion?
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
4B Film Commission, nominate Paul Yoon, Councilman Liaison, for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022, and for a term of 2 years expiring December 31, 2023, I nominate Richard Kosarski, Nelson Page, Gary Donatelli, Drake Stutzman. Motion?
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. And to our illustrious Board of Health, I nominate Isla Kasowski, Councilwoman Liaison, for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022, and for a 3-year term expiring December 31, 2024, I nominate Dr. Lawrence Altman and Ori Masudian. Need a motion?
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Historic Preservation Commission, I nominate Harvey Sommer as Councilman Liaison for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022, and to a 4-year term expiring December 31, 2025, I nominate Lawrence Goldberg. The alternate position for 2 years, I nominate Jacqueline B. Cates. Her term scheduled to expire December 31, 2023. Motion?
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Courtney Housing Authority, I nominate Joseph Cervieri for a term of 1 year as Councilman Liaison, expiring December 31, 2022, and for 5 years, term expiring December 31, 2026, I nominate Elsie O'Neill. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Library Board of Trustees, I nominate Isla Kasowski for 1 year as Councilwoman Liaison, term expiring December 31, 2022, and for a 5-year term expiring December 31, 2026, I nominate Paige Sultano, and to fill the expiring term expiring December 31, 2025, I nominate Tanya Byers-Kang. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Fort Lee Rent Leveling Board, I nominate Peter Suh for a term of 1 year to serve as Councilman Liaison, expiring December 31, 2022, and for 3-year terms expiring December 31, 2024, I nominate Cheryl Cartman and Susan Wilkos. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Sommer.
Yes.
Yoon.
Yes.
Sa.
Yes.
Sargenti.
Yes.
Kazowski.
Yes.
Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. For our Fort Lee Senior Citizens Council, I nominate Joseph Servieri for a one-year term to serve as councilman liaison expiring December 31, 2022. And for the term expiring December 31, 2022, I nominate Chris Escorimbus, director. And finally, for a full two-year term expiring December 31, 2023, I nominate Blanca Beer, Phyllis Pfeiffer, Roberta Sommer. Motion?
Second.
That's your name, John.
Councilmembers Sommer,
Yes.
Yoon,
Yes.
Sa,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski,
Yes.
Surveyor.
Thank you. Sign and Facade Committee, I nominate John Wang to a two-year term expiring December 31, 2023. In motion?
Second.
Councilmembers Sommer,
Yes.
Yoon,
Yes.
Sa,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski, Surveyor.
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor's appointments. These are appointments that we don't need to vote on to the Fort Lee Planning Board. I appoint as the Class 2 member, Mo Marshall, for a one-year term expiring December 31, 2022. And as the Class 4 member, I appoint Armin Pohan to serve a four-year term expiring December 31, 2025. And finally, as alternate 2 member, I appoint Michael Kaplan to serve a two-year term expiring December 31, 2023. To the Sign Facade Review Committee, I appoint Paul Leali for a term of 1 year expiring December 31, 2022. And I appoint as mayor's designee on the Sign Facade Review Committee, James Liu, to a one-year term expiring December 31, 2022.
Mr. Mayor, you have another comment? Thank you.
So this is a comment from Justin Lee. Justin, thank you for your comment. Justin just indicates that he's appreciative of the services from Fort Lee. I'll read this during the public section, but Justin, thank you for your kind thoughts. It's an incredible achievement. Would like to thank you for your outstanding service that we consistently receive at Fort Lee. And we're appreciative of that, Justin. Thank you. But I don't want to go out of order, so we get back to the agenda. Justin, thank you for your comments. With this, that concludes the appointment section or portion of the agenda. And I believe now, Evelyn, we can go to the introduction to the 2022 Special Improvement District budget.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Great. I think you have a statement you'd like to
I
read.
do have a notice
Please.
that will require a motion and second afterwards. 2022 Budget Introduction Special Improvement District. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenues and appropriations, which are available in the office of the Borough Clerk, shall constitute the Fort Lee Special Improvement District for the year 2022. I need a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
So moved. Second.
Councilmembers Sommer,
Yes.
Yoon,
Yes.
Sa,
Yes.
Sargenti,
Yes.
Kazowski, Surveyor.
Yes.
Notice is hereby given that the Fort Lee Special Improvement District budget was approved by the governing body of the Borough of Fort Lee, County of Bergen, at the reorganization meeting held January 6, 2022. A hearing on the Fort Lee Special Improvement District budget will be held at Borough Hall on February 17, 2022 at 7 p.m., at which time and place objections to said budget for the year 2022 may be presented by taxpayers or other interested persons. That's all this evening for the introduction of the budget, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Which brings us to Borough Council report. So I am very happy to turn this microphone over. Harvey, you're up first. Congratulations, my friend, on your re-election, and I look forward to serving 3 more years with you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I with you, and I just wanted to say to everybody out there, the mayor had a lot of words tonight. His statement was right on point with everybody in this borough. This borough works very hard, from our borough administrator, Al Restaino, all the way down to the helpers in the DPW. I mean, everybody just goes 150%. But it only works with one person. We have a director here who is just out of this world, and I don't know of anybody who is like him, and that's our mayor. Our mayor makes this go, and he's the one who tells us what he thinks, and that is 9 times out of 10, right on point. And this is not a dictatorship, it's not anything like that, but the mayor is the guy that makes this work. And he is absolutely, to me, the best in Bergen County. I don't know of any other mayor that is like him. So I just want to say kudos to the mayor in this borough.
That's very
It's
nice of
great.
you. Thank you.
And I'd just like to say congratulations to my running mate Joe Severi on his re-election to the council. 17, how many years? 20, 21? I can't even count that on Joe. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. And Joe,
That's great.
welcome back. I mean, this is just absolutely terrific, and I enjoy working with you and campaigning with you also. I also like to thank the voters of Fort Lee for having the confidence in me to return me to this another 3-year term here. I will serve them with pride like I have done in the past. That's the biggest thing here. I would also like to thank the workers of the Democratic Party in Fort Lee for their hard work, and especially the ones that work and help behind the scenes. There's a lot of people there, and I would name them all, but I would get in trouble, like the mayor said, we would get in trouble if we would name them, but you know who you are out there, and I really thank you. I'd like to thank the chairman of the Democratic Party of Fort Lee, Mark McCree, who always works tirelessly to get the right people where they belong, whether it be on the borough council or whether the committees within the borough. Mark McCree works totally all the time on this, and he is really, kudos to him, and I thank him very, very much. I'd like to thank my family, especially my wife Roberta, and my daughters Stacy and Jill, and my granddaughters Rachel and Lindsay for their support as I continue to do what I believe in, and that is working for the betterment of the borough of Fort Lee. Thank you. I wish you all a happy, healthy, a very healthy and prosperous new year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bobby, thank you, and thank you for your kind words. And I join with our expressing appreciation to our chairman also. I didn't know when to do it, but thank you, Mark McCree. And I think Joe Cervieri can attest to the fact that it is a thankless job. You know, and everybody thinks it's glamour, and you get to make decisions, and you participate, but they fail to mention that, you know, you're up till 11:30 at night getting petitions filed and running to the clerk's office, and so, thank you.
It's also the complaint department.
It's also the complaint department, and it's like herding cats, so thank you, Chairman McCree.
Yes.
And Councilman Paul Yoon. Paul, hello, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So where to begin? I'll try not to be too long. I want to reiterate what Councilman Sommer said about our mayor. I don't know, maybe he doesn't want me to bring this up, but I think everybody should know that we had a pretty tough year health-wise. We got over it, we beat it, but I guess it should be acknowledged that, despite everything he had to go through with cancer and everything, he was still there for the borough of Fort Lee because he loved his town. It truly inspired me that somebody with health issues like that would, come out and be there for the town in every way. So I want to reiterate what Councilman Sommer said. That's number one. And number two, I want to thank the voters of Fort Lee for re-electing my colleagues, Harvey Sommer and Joseph Kravitz. They're both mentors to me, and this town is very well served, and I am grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve with them, and I guess another 3 years for them. I also want to congratulate all the board member appointees. It's a message that I want to get across, that you all represent this community and volunteer your precious time to help make Fort Lee a better place. Fort Lee wouldn't be a great town that it is without volunteers like you. And from the bottom of my heart, I do think that one of the great things about Fort Lee is that we have a sense of community here. As diverse as we are, we have a sense of obligation to our neighbors. And so I want to thank all the volunteers and all the appointees. And I want to encourage you to tell all your friends and family, even your children, to get involved. And so, the more sense of community we have, the better town it is. And finally, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. I anticipate a great year ahead in 2022. I say this every year because I'm an optimist at heart. But I want to wish everyone a healthy and happy and prosperous 2022. But most importantly, I wish everyone that everybody gets to experience, to give, and to see lots of love this year. Me personally, I think creating memories is what we were intended to have by loving God and loving our neighbors. And so I wish everyone a perfect 2022. Sorry I couldn't be there in person for everyone, but I hope to see everybody soon.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. And to you and your family, a healthy 2022. I look forward to seeing you in person very shortly, but thank you, Paul. Councilman Sack, Peter, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. And hope everyone had a happy and most importantly, healthy holiday. I'd like to begin by thanking Peter DeChapelleau for coming in. It's a rare breed to have someone like Judge DeChapelleau. As a municipal court liaison, I had the privilege of speaking to him on a regular basis. And what was most important that I noticed was that he never asked for anything. Whenever we spoke, it was more about what he could do. And that's really a testament to me of what a great person and a judge he was. He was a judge when I was in school here. And as you mentioned, Judge DeChapelleau, you also mentioned Joe Cerise, another rare breed who gave so many years of service to the community. He was also my football coach back 40 some odd years ago. So these are rare breeds to Fort Lee that is going to be very, very hard to replace, if ever. But thank you again for coming in. Thank you, and my condolences to the family. I thank you so much for letting them serve our community. Yesterday, the Board of Education had their reorg meeting where Kristen Richter, MJ Kim, Kim Curry, and Holly Morrell were all sworn in. They had chosen Paula Colbath as the president and Kristen Richter as the vice president, so congratulations to them and best of luck. I'd like to thank Esther Hahn for her years of service as she chose not to run to focus on her family and work. I'd like to congratulate Harvey Sommer and Joe Serreri for their swearing in today. I'm going to take a line from Joe here and say, how much I admire him, and I'm going to steal his words that he uses all the time, which was, a politician is someone who works to get reelected. I'm screwing all this up, but a statesman is someone who works for the people. And as Harvey just said, he is here working for the people, and so is Joe. And these are so true for them, because this is exactly what they represent. True statesmen, because their entire message has always been working with the people, for the people. And I think this incorporates our governing body so well, and the reason why we always work so well together is we have the same interest in mind, which is helping the town of Fort Lee and doing what's best for the town of Fort Lee, and that's why we always work so well together. It's truly an honor for me to work with these fine gentlemen who will continue to make Fort Lee the best place it could be. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
As we enter 2022, we're reminded of the struggles we faced from COVID during 2020 to 2021. And as the mayor mentioned, in March of 2020, we were the first case in the state of New Jersey, and it could have been far worse if it wasn't for the efforts of our incredible staff. Just to name a few, I'm going to say Brian Drumgoole as our OEM director, and Jill Scarpa, and lastly, never forget our Borough Administrator. These are just the few people that put in so much hours that we've never even seen, and their staff, to keep everybody safe as possible and bring forth all the things that the mayor had mentioned, like testing sites, vaccination sites, booster shots, flu shots, and not to mention contact tracing. I wonder how they even find time to get any sleep, because all these numerous hours were done behind the scenes when we weren't paying attention. And with the pandemic seeming to be coming to an end, Fort Lee has found ways to bring some normal back to town, such as the St. Rocco's Feast, the Fort Lee Night Out, the menorah lighting, and the incredible tree lighting, which is just some of the greatest things. And these are just a few of the things that we were able to bring back. we lost in 2020. As the mayor said, this was only because Fort Lee continues to do the right thing, and people out there in Fort Lee continue to wear the mask, continue to get vaccinated, continue to get tested, and stay home when they're not feeling well. There's so many things that Fort Lee did to keep the people safe. And this really comes down to the messaging and the video from Linda McHugh, but our fantastic mayor, who I can't tell you how many times I get calls and comments about what great videos we have and how the mayor's videos are so compassionate, so informative, and often entertaining. And he is really the envy of the state of New Jersey, if not the northern quarter of the East Coast of America, because of what he does. He even mentioned how we are a model community, and this comes down to the things that Linda has done with the videos, but most importantly, the message that the mayor has brought out and the way he conveys it in such a loving, compassionate manner. And I can't thank him so much. He is the true hero to Fort Lee for all that he's done during all this times. But what the public doesn't see is all the meetings that he goes through with the governor. I remember the county executive was here almost on a regular basis. And all the services that he was putting in and all the time and effort. No doubt, the mayor, our mayor, is the most approachable and willing to listen mayor that I have ever seen. So thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everyone for keeping us safe and doing what you do.
Thank you, Chief.
But as we start 2022, we're reminded that we're not out of the waters yet. There's still Omicron and it's quickly spreading, so please be vigilant and follow the CDC guidelines. There's snow coming in the forecast, so with a decent amount of snow, we're reminded to stay off the roads, remove the cars so that our DPW can continue to do their great job. We're all in this together, and we're reminded that we should love our neighbors, and especially in the snow conditions, remember, help your neighbors remove the snow and whenever we can. Social distancing does not mean we have to be socially distanced. And that was so evident with our youth council, who continues to strive to bring social responsibility while being socially distant. Thank you so much. Have a great new year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for such kind words. Please, I'm not deserving that, but thank you. And I purposely didn't mention the Board of Ed, because I know that's your sweet spot, and I want to wait for you, but I too want to thank Esther Silver for her service and congratulate her for making it back to civilian life.
Yes.
Unscathed, or maybe a little scathed,
Well,
but, made it back. And pledged to Paula and to Kristen Richter that any way we can help within reason, we will be there as we have in the past. And one thing I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, welcome Robert Kravitz.
Yes. Thank you.
So Robert Kravitz is our new superintendent, great guy, principal here in the past in Fort Lee, Blue Ribbon Award School, which was pretty cool. We're excited to have him, and I'd encourage everybody in Fort Lee, one day reach out for him. If you see him, introduce you. He's a very approachable guy. Thank you for your kind words.
He's having a lot of events.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you. Councilman Sargenti, Michael.
Thank you, Mr.
Happy
Mayor.
New Year, sir.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. A safe one as well. I don't know if there's anything left to talk about, Mr. Mayor.
No more compliments, please, but thank you. That's very nice.
Then I got nothing else to say.
Got it.
Okay, so, as the mayor stated in his open remarks about the Fort Lee Volunteer Fire Department, just to let everybody know, 158 calls for the month of December. I won't break them down. But you're right, Mr. Mayor, overall, 2,007 fire calls for the year, and the big one in Knightsbridge. I just think, what was it, the year before that? Or was it the 2 years before that?
Mike, we
Yeah,
gotta
the
work,
other big one.
we gotta work on something in 2022, and if anybody's gonna figure it out, it's gonna be this fire department. But, the majority of those calls are these alarms going on.
Yeah.
But we can't, you still have to man that truck, you still gotta get the guys and gals out there, you have to presume it's a working fire.
Right.
They gotta figure out a way to, it's not our department's fault, they're just doing what they volunteer to do. But anyway.
Brian Gergel was a great chief for the department, looking out left it in good hands with Pat Paluso, Rich Onfray, and John Klein. Looking forward to Harvey working with them as the liaisons to the fire department.
Yep.
Fire department's getting 3 fire trucks. I mean, we're donating equipment to other areas that are in need of fire equipment. So nothing that we do here never goes to the wayside. It always goes forward, and we donate it to other departments that might need it, whether it be South Jersey, out west, like we've seen it happen. The town lost 2 iconic people. I mean, we talked about it. Everybody's been here. Peter was here with his family. You left Joe and John. If you look at what they've done for this town and then how many people they've touched, you don't have enough time to write it down, to talk about it. They will sorely be missed, very hard to replace. So keep them in mind. All right, when you go to football or baseball, Joe is a big sports guy, and when you come into this chamber, always thank the job, because he always had a smile. He always guided people the best way he knew how.
Right.
My wife's a school teacher in 6th grade. She used to bring the kids in class and sit and watch John operate.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say your wife came in and was sentenced here.
I tried, John would do it. He would have saved me a few dollars, but he
I
didn't
said,
know.
Mike, where you going with the story?
But,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
that was, you know what, and speaking to Peter, and John was telling me this too, Michael, the best part of his job is when the kids used to come and join. And I'm gonna tell you something else, the best part of my job is when the teachers invite me to the 2nd and 3rd grade.
Yeah.
It is just, it's the kick of kicks, and Harvey,
Yeah.
they were all sometimes, right? Isn't it fun?
Yeah, yeah.
And what's the first question you're always asked? How much money? Well, no, you carry a gun or something. You have security.
Yeah.
you get to put the siren lights on?
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
That's all right, that's all right. It's all, listen, we're all family, we all talk. It's all good. But most of all, I want to thank the mayor and Mark. Going through what you had gone through, I had a member of the family similar to you, but you never kept your eye off the ball. You never kept your eye off leading this town and directing people and giving ideas as you were going through. Even coming home, sleeping for a few hours, calling us, hey, what's going on? What do you think about this? That's a leader. To make sure people will follow you, good, bad, or indifferent. And I want to thank you for that. We've learned so much. As Peter had said, snow tonight. Please follow the advisories. They'll be on your phone. They'll be coming through your cell phone, so on and so forth. Most of all, be careful. But most of all, Joe and Harvey, welcome back. Your friendship is undeniably, it touches my heart. And I want to welcome you back. Even though you beat me in golf every once in a while. Okay, one time. But I promise to get back this year.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Outside of that, Mr. Mayor, everybody have a good and safe New Year. Everybody stay safe.
Mike, it just reminds me of a quick, cute little story. It was the night before, it was a winter storm. I was at, I believe, the 3rd grade, Sandy Klein's 3rd grade. And there was an impending snowstorm. And the kids, the only thing, probably be there, the only thing the kids would ask are you going to close Fort Lee for the snowstorm, or are you going to close Fort Lee for the snowstorm? And now I'm looking out the window, and I see that it's starting to get heavier, and I said, you know what, I'm going to call it. I remember calling Al before I got there, and says, let me know what you want to do. Al, because I'm always in touch with Al with this stuff. So I put Al on the speakerphone. I don't know if you remember this, Al. And this little 3rd grader, I said, who wants to close down Fort Lee? This little kid walks up and says, close Fort Lee. And from that moment forward, all the plows started and that, Borough Hall was closed. Then the announcements came on the school. He really, felt like he closed down Fort Lee. He kind of had to be there. And, I mean, he was just beaming with this, I closed down Fort Lee. It was great. It was great. You really can do that? I said, well, yeah, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's close it down. Anyway, and that was for a good reason. Anyway, thank you for your kind words, Michael, and it's a privilege to serve with you, as it is with Peter, Paul, and Harvey and Isla and Joe. I love
Thank you,
you.
Mayor.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Congratulations, Harvey, Joe, welcome back. I feel like you're both family, not just co-workers. I'm thrilled to work with you in the future. As the COVID numbers spike, Mayor has covered most of what's going on, but I do want to tell everyone that on the borough website, if you go to the Fort Lee Health Department, right on the top, there's a heading, All Things COVID, and it talks about free home testing, New Jersey Finder, secure access to COVID shots, all things COVID is very helpful. But all through this pandemic, all of us have gotten calls from a lot of seniors that don't have a computer. And I know I personally was happy to pick up and call for some seniors that have no idea how to use a computer. And I know Linda got a buddy out of this when we first began. And I think what everybody is trying to say about our mayor is that we have a human connection, starting with our mayor. And whether it's the health department, whether it's the parking authority, whether it's the DPW, there's a human connection. When a resident calls, everybody is happy. Somebody from the health department is going to look for you. Hold on, Mrs. Smith. Let me see where I can find you a test. I know you don't know how to get one. So that's what makes Fort Lee special to me, the human connection, especially right now. So many people are looking for direction. But again, we're in this together. We're all neighbors, and it's the human connection. It warms my heart to tell you this, but it's why I love living in Fort Lee. Moving on to the library. I read the book called Unstoppable, which is the subject of our speaker next Monday night, the 10th. Unfortunately, we're back on Zoom because of the spike in Omicron. But the author is Joshua Green, and he wrote a biography of Ziggy Wilson. So if you go on the library site, it will give you the Zoom info. And the book was fabulous, about a Holocaust survivor that becomes a billionaire by owning the trust company of New Jersey. It is incredible. So tune in. We have the author at our event at the library. And then the next event are 2 lectures in celebration of Black History Month. One is February 9th, and the next is February 8th. One is about Jim Crow, and one is the roots of black music in America, which I think sounds fabulous. And so much more. I could be here talking for half an hour. But if you go to the library website or call me, we'll tell you what events are coming up. So we have a lot going on. And with that, I beg everyone, be safe. Our health department follows the CDC guidelines. So if you're curious what to do, you need directions, follow the CDC guidelines, which we all spoke about. And be safe, be well, and have a good, healthy year. We will get through this together. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Isla. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you. It's a privilege serving with you as well. And finally, Councilman Joseph Servieri. Joe, congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
Proud to serve with you, longest serving councilman in the history of the borough of Fort Lee, and I'm sure this historian's out there right now somewhere in the early 1900s trying to figure out if that's true.
This is no big.
We're going to all look like liars if they find some guy from like 1902 to 1937 who's a councilman. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. So it's a privilege, and the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to also thank the people of Fort Lee for the privilege to serve them once again, along with my esteemed mayor and council. I also want to, right up front, thank Joanne, my wife, for allowing me to spend so much time away from her and serving the people of Fort Lee. We have a mission, we have a vision, and we hope that we are going to accomplish it all together, all for the benefit of our town. Joanne and I are both natives of Fort Lee, multi-generation, and we really have long history here with our roots here. And see how we can improve our town. I'd like to, a number of thank yous. Our municipal chair of our Democratic Party, I'd like to thank Mark McCree for his tireless efforts to keep this town moving forward. It's not just a party thing, it's what's good for the town, and that's the Democratic Party of Fort Lee. I'd also like to thank Pat Rooney, who provides a lot of assistance for us, much more than anybody would want to know, but also the 38 county committee people that they're there to serve their community, and they help get us elected so that we can do our job. I'd like to thank our mayor and council. It's absolutely a privilege and a joy to be a part of the family and to see that we're actually accomplishing big things for our community. We're doing that with the help of a lot of people. Alistino, Mary Ann and Fran, Evelyn, and you're terrific. I'm going to call you guys the A-team back there, because you really are. It's just unbelievable how much you guys can accomplish in such a little amount of time. The turnaround time, especially, which is evident during the summertime when we do a double meeting on the same night. It's just unbelievable. I don't know how you guys do it, but you pull it off every time. Brian Drunkle, I announced earlier tonight, we're thanking him for his service as the fire chief. But remember, that's double duty. He also is, and continues to be, the head of our emergency services. Our EMS, he is our EMS coordinator, and he's done an outstanding job through this pandemic, and which is another example of excellence within the community. Also, Jill Scarpa, who has been mentioned before, the health department and the guys and girls over there, unbelievable how we're able to do that. Not many towns have their own independent health department, right? But Fort Lee does, and one of the things that Jill had promised us at the table when she was being interviewed by us just before the pandemic was we are going to be one of the only towns, I guess, that are state certified health departments. And she had given us a 1-year plan to get that done, because where she came from was, I guess, the second one. The first one is the New Jersey State Department of Health. Right. And then there was one other, which is where she came from, and we asked, well, do you think we could do that? Right. And she thought she'd be able to do it, and then the following question was, well, how long will it take? She said, I could probably get it done in a year. Well, COVID hit us, and so she has a good excuse on extending that time. But we expect that's going to be something that we haven't forgotten about. I'm sure she hasn't either. During this year, we did hire what I call our Emmy Award-worthy videographer for her coverage of Fort Lee. This has been a work in progress, and we're surely glad and blessed to have Linda now even a more active part of the family. John DeSheplo. I said earlier, and I say it again, John, I really miss you. This is the first time in 24 years that you're not here to swear me in. But I know you had big shoes to fill, and my colleague right over here did a very good job of filling them. And I'm blessed to have had both of you in my life. But John, the one thing that came to my mind when everybody was talking about him that wasn't touched on, but the words just kept coming out in my mind, was this is a person with empathy.
That's the word.
That's great.
That he displayed right from this desk. Not only there, but inside the courtroom and outside. He also, I say, a gentleman was kindness, fairness, and intelligence.
Yep.
And John, you did a great job, and you have a fabulous family behind you. And we thank you all. One of the things, and I'm not going to spend too much time, because I know the mayor kind of, every time we talk about it, he goes,
I cringe a little, but okay.
cringe a little, but I'm going to say something here. Fort Lee has come a long way with Mark Sokolich as our leader. We have grown our community in a very smart way. We've become a town of anything evident until this gentleman took this position. That's a huge accomplishment. And it's displayed on first night, it's displayed on the holiday tree lighting, and any event that we have in Fort Lee. And you see so many people come by with smiles. You can also see with the people that we attract here, the excellent administrator, borough clerk, health department. A lot of people want to work in Fort Lee, not because it's just a good place to work, but because of the sense of community and the accomplishments that we're able to do.
It's a great point, Joe.
And once again, I thank you for re-electing me for another term. I'm privileged to be here. I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that we attain some of the goals we're setting out, because we still have a lot to do. And thank you all for the privilege.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your kind words. And I do cringe a little when I get these compliments, but thank you. And it's sweet of you all to say. But I go back to what I said 15 years ago, where if you're a young couple or any age couple living in Fort Lee, raising your kids, you work here, family here, and you go to dinner with those 5 or 6 other couples, and they start talking about their town or their community, I want that Fort Lee couple to be able to just completely and absolutely, overrun anything. Well, yeah, this is what we do in our town, and this is what we got. And I want them to have bragging rights. I mean, I know this is a silly little analogy in my brain, but I just want pride in community like you all do. And you make a great point about personnel, because you know what? It was always important to us collectively that it meant something. If you served here, or if you volunteered here, or if you worked here. And, look, we got our share of problems. We're far from perfect. The school now is on an upward trajectory. I think there's a great board there, phenomenal teachers. They're just got their ups and downs. I think we got an incredible and energetic superintendent. I just think we're going in the right direction. A few things we do need to address. And, but thanks, and we did it together. We do everything by committee here. So let's not deceive the public in any manner, shape, or form. I might come up with my share of ideas, but every single major idea has every single one of your footprints on it, bottom line, and fingerprints on it, not footprints, you would stamp on it, right? And that's important that everyone know that, right? Come up with an idea, goes through a metamorphosis, and we come back with, and that's important to know. Because if you're gonna be a decent leader, you want everybody around you to feel like they're participating and they're a part of it. And the second someone feels alienated, or you close someone out from considering their thoughts, then, what are we doing here, and why are you serving? So, thank you guys.
May I add one thing? I wanted to just add one more. When I talk about the people that we've been able to attract, I don't want to forget Chris Erdonis, who is our library director, came to us from Ridgewood, where she was the assistant, and she's done a tremendous job of just, that library has just exploded with positivity.
Yeah.
And I want to have a shout out to her. The one thing I just got a message today that this is the second round of grants from the state came out today, and unfortunately, Fort Lee was not in that list. So we were kind of surprised at that and very disappointed. But what we're doing is we're going to probably kickstart our fundraising drive to be able to do some of those items that we were looking for towards expanding the use of the library, increasing the children's room area, and the general purpose room, and just upgrading the facility itself. So be aware that in future committee reports, council reports, that I may be begging for money for our library. But on a positive note, 2022, let's go.
Can I add one thing about the library?
Please.
Which I think is so timely. You can apply, this is what I have, it's for books on wheels. If you want to borrow a book, they'll drop off the book at your house. Who does that? So They're available in the library, they're available online. Here is one, I can leave it in Borough Hall, Books on Wheels. I think that's a fabulous opportunity.
And I just also want to be clear, we mentioned a few names, and I know that there's so many more from Mike to Gloria, from Brian to Steve, from just on and on and on, from Matt to just anybody and everybody in between, and by not mentioning them, that's not to suggest that there wasn't that same high level of respect and performance, just that there are so many.
Right.
And think of the people that we mentioned as simply an example of, you know, the way everybody else conducts themselves. But I want to be clear, we have our challenges in 2022. We got a hell of a tax burden that we got to start dealing with, and we'll figure it out, we'll put our heads together. With that, do we have anybody from the, I need a motion open to the public.
So,
Second.
Anyone from the public out there, Sam, or anybody have any?
No.
No one? No one have? Okay. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add before we close?
the one thing is that I just checked.
You're not gonna ask for money already, are you?
Not yet, no, that's really good, baby. But, I just looked on Black Sky, which is my favorite, app for,
Yeah.
predicting. It says we're going to get between 2 to 4 inches, starting at 2 a.m., taking right through till 8 a.m., right here at 309 Main
Okay.
Street. So, if you're driving to work tomorrow, just be prepared and be safe.
And be safe. And just so everybody knows, we've been grinding all day. The trucks are fully salted. We're ready to go. Thank you to everybody in Portland, guys. Thank